Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, whether you're tuning in on the radio dial here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM. We welcome you all back to our show. Also, those tuning in through our online affiliates around the world, including our Heart Radio family. We're glad to have all of you with us as well. You know, I'm really excited to welcome back our next guest to the program. I was just saying to Dan Godlin, it's hard to believe the first time I interviewed him on Conversations Live was back in 2012. At the time, he was celebrating his album, Loving on Empty. He's made other appearances on our program since then, the latest being 2016. He's definitely been busy in that amount of time. He has brand new music out this year where you guys are going to be hearing some of that music, as well as finding out how you can stay connected with Dan and his amazing journey. But Dan, hello to you, and welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Cyrus. Thanks for having me back. I appreciate this. I love coming on your show, and I appreciate you reaching out, especially with this new music that I have out now. Great to talk with you about it.
Hey, the pleasure's definitely on mine, Dan. And, you know, I think the great thing about you is that you're always working on something. I mean, whether it's music or, you know, I mentioned to you before we went on here, you know, we've been seeing the commercials. We've been able to see other ways you've been able to express your creativity. What has this experience been like for you, Dan? And not only to find outlets that you enjoy, but then to be able to share those with your fans.
Yeah, you know, I've always been inspired by art, music, acting. I've always loved both mediums. I got into acting when I met my now wife. She's also an actress, and she's like, Dan, you know, you're doing your music thing, you're writing, you're touring, you're getting your music licensed out there. You should also explore acting because you're great in front of the camera, you're great in front of a live audience. It's almost sort of a natural next step for you. So for me, I started really training hard. I took some Meisner courses in Los Angeles and came back, and I've done some TV and film courses, and I've been fortunate enough to book a few great commercials. If you've seen me on your TV, Burlington, Sprint, etc., which has been great. It's been another amazing outlet for me. I think it's great whenever I have the opportunity to, you know, express creativity.
Right, for sure. And I think it's something that it's very obvious that you love yourself. I mean, does that make it even more worthwhile, Dan, that you're not just doing a job? You're doing something that you actually are passionate about.
Yeah, you know, it's a blessing to be able to do it. And you know, touring is a wonderful thing. Whenever I get the opportunity to do that, I love going out and tour. I toured with Howie Day and Tyler Hilton and Anna Nalick, all these amazing artists. I opened for them. That was an amazing thing in the past couple of years. And again, just being able to be in front of the camera whenever I have the opportunity, or be on stage whenever I have the opportunity. It's really, truly a wonderful thing to a wonderful career to have. And I like exploring all these options.
For sure. On May 25th, 2017, Dan, you made a post on Instagram that I wanted to share with our audience. It was a great meme, and I think it says a lot about where you are and who you are. The meme said, proceed as if success is inevitable. Do you find as though, as you kind of look at where you are today, it is a direct result because of the hard work and dedication that you put in over the years?
Yeah, I mean, that, you know, dream big has been a huge motto of mine. It's been a motto of mine since I was in middle school. I've always believed in dreaming, shooting for the stars, and imagining a life of success in whatever you want to do. And it's been something that I continuously hashtag on, like, most of my posts. And, you know, that's not to say, you know, there are days, everybody has ups and downs. There are times where you feel defeated or deflated, and you have to sort of build yourself back up. But the constant reminder of you know, shooting for the stars, foreseeing a successful future, only helps to bring it, to help it manifest in your life. And it's happened for me, you know, whenever I stay positive and there are days where I literally can't write a thing because I have writer's block, and I'm like so frustrated at myself. And then there are days where it comes so easily. So you just have to sort of trust the process, trust the work, know that it's not going to happen overnight. It rarely does. Even the quote-unquote overnight successes don't happen overnight. It takes time. Some people are more lucky than others and have their break much more quickly. But I knew this going into it. It's going to be a slow process, and it's sort of culmination of a lot of I call mini wins, mini successes. You book a commercial here, you get a song in a placement on Major Crimes on TNT, the season finale. That was a huge win for me. Going on tour with Tyler Hilton and Howie Day and Anna Nalick, that's a huge win. I mean, so I don't look for the huge success. I'm like, oh, hey, I've made it, but I'm sort of adding up all the mini wins, and I look for those, which is hard to find in a career that's very challenging and competitive and difficult. But I think that's helped me to move forward.
For sure, and it set an example for all of us.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you did, and and I was just saying, I mean, it lets us all know though what's possible, but also, you talk about the mini wins. I've struggled with this, and I know a lot of people out there do because. And it's so easy to do, even though it seems like it should be a no-brainer that, okay, maybe you're not where you want to be, but you still are further than you were, and you should celebrate that. But a lot of times we become so conditioned that unless we've reached that big thing that we set, that we're a failure. How important has that been for you to be measured in what you look at as success, Dan, but also to appreciate, as you said, those mini wins and to not downplay those?
So it's interesting. I think as an artist, I think a lot of artists can agree with this feeling that no matter how many mini successes that come, there's still a desire for more. It's almost like the more and people who are ultra famous, that's why a lot of very hugely famous people have a lot of issues because they're always striving for more, and there's never a moment. I think the misconception is, hey, you get into this career, you get a big break, and then, you've made it. It's paradise. Life is golden. Things are great. I think that's a huge misconception. I think that nobody's really just satisfied with the success, no matter how the successes that they have, no matter how large or small they are. I think everybody, as artists, are trying to one-up themselves. So while it's great to, I look back at my first album, Loving on Empty, and when I finished that album, I was so proud of it. I was like, I'm putting this out. This is my baby. And I didn't know that 3-4 years later, when I was going to release new music, that I was going to say, that stuff was a success in those years, and this new stuff is a success now. And I feel like I've grown so much. And it's almost like with every new release of new music, it's like, this is the new me. This is the new me. This is my new success. And maybe I look back at the older music and I cringe a little bit. I'm like, I don't know if I should have released that, or I didn't sing that quite well, or wow, my voice is not nearly where it used to be. And there's a lot of self-doubt and sort of criticizing yourself. But I think that's normal as an artist. So I guess my point is that you have to be okay with all the successes, no matter how big they are, how small they are, and the failures, no matter how big or how small they are. You have to know that, if you're an artist and you're going after this, that it's going to be a roller coaster ride. There's going to be a lot of ups. There's going to be a lot of downs. I mean, in terms of acting, you can go into a casting director room and you can read a script and you can do so well, and then get a callback, and then get a second callback or a third callback, then get in front of producers and then get nothing, and then there's silence. And it's a lot of having to sort of go back to step one and say, what, I'm going to trust my process, I'm going to trust the work, and I trust myself. And as long as I stay focused and I believe in myself and I don't allow myself to get down on myself, I'll be good to go.
For sure. And again, we've definitely been able to see that. Dan, I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome back to our program today Dan Godlin. As I was saying, we've had some great conversations with Dan over the years, as he was just talking about his first project. We had him on the show to talk about that. He was on 2 years ago. And there is a theme with you, Dan, and that theme has to do with love. As you mentioned, Loving on Empty. Of course, a new single that we're going to be hearing here, If This Is a Dream. But even with the single you released, I think, the end of last year with Demolition Heart, there is a theme of love that you like to be able to sing about. Do you kind of see that as just a part of who you are?
I love love. Can't get away from it. Yeah. And I write songs as well that don't have anything to do with love, romantic love per se. But yeah, I always come back to it because that's who I am, a loving person. I am, I don't know, I like to write about warm, fuzzy things, and then breakups. Those are fun to write about too. I guess I'm a very emotional guy. If This Is a Dream, that was a song that I actually wrote for my wedding, for my wife, my now wife, at our wedding, and I performed it at our wedding. But the verses in that song were very different. They were a little slower, very, very much more romantic. And I decided when I was going to record the song, a few months after the wedding was over, I decided I was going to change up all the verses, make it a little more pop, a little more edgy, but still have it say something of meaning. And Demolition Heart, that's a whole other beast. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, well, Demolition Heart, that was inspired by a relationship a long, long time ago, back in high school, in middle school, and that came from, I basically had a best friend who we were inseparable. I had very strong feelings for this girl, and it was unrequited love. She never sort of felt the same about me, and I guess finally senior year she did feel the same way, and she said, hey, let's give this a try, and we were dating for a very short period of time, and then she basically said to me, it ain't working anymore, and it broke my heart. And I don't know. I write about this so many years later because I was actually going for a run, and I recalled a party that I went to a year after my senior year in high school, so it was our freshman year of college, and I remember seeing the same girl with her boyfriend, her old ex-boyfriend. And I got so mad, I was in a fit of rage. I ran downstairs in the basement of this house, and I punched 4 holes in the wall. So I basically, quote unquote, demolished this basement, and I stopped my run. I was running in Central Park, and I was like, man, I have to write a song about this. This is, use this imagery of, the demolition. So I sort of told the story, and I know it's many, many years later, but those feelings, when you start thinking about those memories, those feelings come up, and that's the beauty of being a songwriter. It's like there's nothing you can't write about. There's nothing you can't tap into when you want to. Does that make sense?
Exactly. No, it totally does. And I think that is what, and that brings up another great question in connection with that, Dan, and that is, has that been part of the fun, too, to see how your fans have been able to not only respond to the music, but see themselves in the music? Yeah, that's always my favorite my favorite part about releasing music, truly, and I'm sure you get a similar response by a lot of singer-songwriters, is when I get an Instagram message from somebody that says, man, this is so close to my life, or man, I didn't know how to say what you said, and I've been struggling for years to figure out what my feelings were, and you just said it. When I'm able to sort of connect with somebody who's able to connect the song to other people, etc., it makes me feel satisfied. And that's always been my favorite part about releasing, is just hearing the feedback and hearing people say, wow,
this is even if it, obviously Demolition Heart is a very specific story, but there are a lot of people who have felt like they were friend zoned for many years, or have loved their best friend, and it never quite worked out, and they felt heartbroken over that. And that's, yes, I write for myself, but at the end of the day, when it's out in the world and it's everybody's, and then I get some feedback saying, wow, this has really changed my perspective, or wow, I didn't even think of it this way, this is what I've been going through, that's what's really satisfying for me.
For sure. Well, I know it is for a lot of other people as well. Again, that single Demolition Heart is available through our friends at Amazon.com, as well as If This Is a Dream. In fact, here is your opportunity. If you have not heard it, here is If This Is a Dream by Dan Godlin. We'll be back with our final moments with Dan right after this.
Nobody believes in us. Why is it always such a fight when I fall in love? Gotta prove that it's right and not a bluff. You're the one that I need. And they're afraid they only want what's best for me, but they won't ever understand this is meant to be. If I could do this life again, you'd be next to me, never leaving your side. Baby, I'm lost, 'cause I couldn't go a day without you. Baby, I'm lost in love. If this is a dream, then let me sleep forever. This is a dream. We'll close our eyes together. If I could have you for a million lifetimes, would you find me in everyone? If this is a dream, then let me sleep forever. Dying wishes, no regret, choose it carefully. My heart was louder than the noise in my clarity. I made up my mind, so let them talk, they always got a better plan. They'll never see that since you came I'm a better man. Might lose my friend but through it all you're my greatest fan. Loving me with those eyes. Baby, I'm lost, 'cause I couldn't go a day without you. Baby, I'm lost. Let me sleep, Let me sleep forever. Let me sleep forever.
That again was If This Is a Dream by recording artist Dan Godlin. We got it through our friends at Amazon.com. You can get it through your favorite online retailer. We're about to tell you also how you can stay connected with Dan as well. Dan, do you find yourself, we mentioned earlier, we talked about the music, but of course we also talked about you being able to pursue your other passion when it comes to acting and the work you've been able to do in that way. Do you find yourself now, especially as we talked earlier about the appreciation for where you are, do you find yourself thinking less about the what's next and more about the moment?
I don't know. I don't know. Like if I've had that revelation yet. I think I'm human. I'm always sort of thinking in the past, thinking in the future, and I think we all strive to be more in the moment. But yeah, when I have my acting opportunities, I'm very focused on that and give it my all and put every bit of emotion I have into these auditions and et cetera, and music as well. Like when I sit down and I'm writing, I'm trying to stay in the moment. I'm trying to tap into a feeling. I'm trying to tap into something that other people can connect to. But yeah, you go in and out. Yeah, I've taken on some meditation the last couple of years, which has helped me stay more in the moment. I think that's the point of meditation is there's so much commotion out there. There's so much competition. There's a lot of challenges out there in this world. And I think that it's very important to center yourself. So I do like 20 minutes of meditation in the morning and sometimes in the evening as well. It sort of grounds me and makes me a bit more appreciative of myself, appreciative of my process, and it helps me to be able to trust my work. I think that it's very important for me to stay authentic to myself. And I for these songs, these two songs, I actually when I first went to produce them, I wanted to collaborate with somebody. So I worked with somebody in New York, and halfway through the process, I realized I had to check in with myself, and I realized that what was coming out through the speakers didn't feel authentic. And I had to sort of take a step back and really think about what it is I want, how I want to be portrayed, how I want my music to be heard. And I had to pull away from that production and go on my own and produce it on my own out in Los Angeles, because I felt like I was losing a little bit of myself. And so I think that's great. I'm able to be aware of that. Like whenever I'm compromising, my artistic integrity or whatever it is, I can make sure that I'm staying on the right track and staying authentic and staying grounded and keeping in the moment. And I think, with time and with many years in this business, you just learn. You learn, you fail, you get back up, and you start again. And there's like I said before, there's no day that you wake up and be like, I've made it. This is my, everything is good. I don't do anything else. We're always striving for more. But while we're doing that, we have to stay grounded.
For sure. I think it's a great reminder for all of us, no matter what our profession might be. Again, everyone, recording artist and actor Dan Godlin has been our guest once again. Great conversation with you once again. And Dan, make sure you guys head over and get the brand new music. The two singles we talked about here were Demolition Heart, and of course you guys heard If This Is a Dream. And Dan, let our audience know, how can they stay connected with you?
Yeah, best way is through Instagram. I'm big on Instagram. I'm at Dan Godlin, DanGodlin. Also Facebook as well. And, of course, you could always check out my website, dangodlin.com, for updates and tour dates when they come, etc. So Instagram, Facebook, and website.
All right. Well, Dan, congratulations to you again. Always great checking in with you, and looking forward to our next conversation together, man.
Me too, Cyrus. Thank you very much for having me. Really enjoyed our conversation.
Hey, my pleasure. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. If you all came in late and you missed part of the conversation with Dan, don't worry. Thanks to our online friends, you all can catch the replay, but after we go off the air, the link is already available through our social media sites. So head over to Facebook.com/Cyrus Webb or go to Twitter.com/Cyrus Webb. If you click on the link there, you can listen to the show completely for free and share with your friends from there too. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. You all make it a great one.